Don't you want to try the coffee I made just for you, honey? My husband, James, asked, wearing a strange smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. I was seated at the elegant dining table in my sister-in-law Nina's Nashville home, where we held our monthly family brunches. The coffee in front of me gave off a peculiar, almost metallic scent that turned my stomach. My name's Christina. And at 29, I never expected to find myself wondering whether my own husband might be trying to poison me. But after 3 years of marriage and one too many cases of accidental food poisoning, I'd grown cautious, especially when it came to Nina. She had a knack for arranging situations that left me sick or humiliated, always with that same innocent smile James now wore. "How thoughtful of you," I said, forcing a smile while my thoughts raced. The smell coming from the coffee reminded me too much of the tea I drank at Nina's house last month, the same tea that sent me to urgent care. The doctors had no explanation for my symptoms, and Nina insisted she'd made it just as she always did. From across the table, Nina watched me carefully, casually stirring her untouched coffee. "James has been getting really into coffee lately," she said with a smirk. "Trying out all these different brewing methods for you." The way she emphasized "for you" sent a chill down my spine. I'd noticed James spending more time at Nina's lately, saying they were planning a surprise for our anniversary. But something felt off the hushed conversations that ended as soon as I entered the room. The odd texts I'd glimpsed on his phone, and now this strange-smelling coffee. I lifted the cup, pretending to sip while keeping an eye on their faces. James and Nina exchanged a quick glance enough to confirm my suspicions, making a show of checking my phone. I stood abruptly. "Oh, would you look at that? I need to make a quick call for work." "Nina, would you mind if I used your study?" As I walked past Nina's place setting, I stumbled on purpose switching our cups in the chaos of catching myself. "I'm so sorry," I said, straightening up. "Such a klutz." Nina brushed it off with a tight smile. "Just try not to break anything in the study." I nodded and walked away quickly, my heart pounding. From the study's doorway, I could still see the table. Now, all I had to do was wait. Peeking from the doorway, I watched Nina lift the cup to her lips. My stomach clenched. A part of me wanted to stop her, to shout, but I needed proof. Too many visits, too many painful nights, too many meals that mysteriously made me sick. It hadn't always been like this. When I met James at a wedding 3 years ago, he'd been charming. Nina had seemed warm, inviting, even always pulling me into family plans and wedding prep. Looking back, I should have caught the red flags, the way she always managed to spill things on me at events, or how my plate always had a little extra something when she helped cook. The incident started small. An upset stomach here, a reaction there. James always had a ready excuse. "You probably ate something earlier, or maybe you're getting sick." But the pattern was undeniable. 2 months ago, I was hospitalized after breakfast at their place. The doctors found traces of something but couldn't identify it. James claimed I'd probably taken expired meds. Clutching the door frame, I watched as Nina took another sip. James was on his phone.com. My cup sat cold where I left it. That metallic smell still clung to the air. Then I saw her hand trembled. She set down the cup, her face suddenly pale. "James," she said shakily, "something's wrong." James looked up, his expression shifting from confusion to panic. Nina, wait, what cup did you drink from? He bolted from his seat. I don't feel ... Nina's hands were trembling violently now. She tried to stand, stumbled, gripped the table for support. James, what did you put in that coffee? I stepped out of the study, phone already recording. That was in your cup, James whispered. But in the silence, every word was crystal clear. Nina's eyes widened in realization. Call an ambulance, she gasped, sliding down to the floor. Please, I can't. I dialed 911. My hand didn't shake, ... Yes. We need emergency services at 1542 Maple Grove Drive. I told my sister-in-law's reacting to something in her coffee. She's conscious, but having violent tremors. Across the floor, Nina locked eyes with her usual cold stare, replaced with sheer panic. You switched? She gasped. You knew. Help is on the way. The dispatcher reassured me. James was losing it. Nina, what's happening? That wasn't... I didn't mean shut up. Nina snapped, her voice raspy through gritted teeth. This is your fault. You said it would just make her miss the board meeting. You swore it wouldn't be traceable. My blood froze. The board meeting, my presentation for the Henderson account, the one Nina had been chasing for months. Suddenly, everything made sense. The tea, last month, I said, and the breakfast 2 months ago, those weren't coincidences? Nina doubled over. The tea, that was to keep you from presenting the Johnson proposal. But you showed up anyway, she groaned. James said we just needed to discredit you. The sirens wailed outside. James stood, backing away. Stop talking. Nina, you're confused. I know exactly what I'm saying. She spat. We've been planning this for months ever, since Christina started outshining me. The paramedics rushed in. As they loaded Nina onto a stretcher, I stopped recording and emailed the video to myself, then to my lawyer. I'll ride with her. I told the she need proper treatment. I looked James dead in the eye, and I'm sure the doctors will want to know what was in that coffee.